One, two, three. Harold and Brad, Windy City Filmmakers. Harold and Brad, Windy City Filmmakers. Harold and Brad. Filmmakers podcast, but really we're talking breaking down film with my good friend China Colston, the super talented actress, writer, director, producer. Tell the people about yourself, China L.
Hey, Brad. Thank you so much. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? Chinese here. I'm in Brooklyn, and I'm excited to talk about this wonderfully comedic, it's kind of a dramedy. I can't wait to talk about it. It's really fun, and I enjoyed it. So let's go.
Yeah. So we're talking about the 1968 movie Funny Girl. You know, it's funny. Looking at it on IMDb, it says biography, comedy, drama. So I guess like some of it may be based in real life. But of course, it was directed by William Wyler, and it stars Barbra Streisand and Omar Sharif. And I didn't know that. I think that that was her first movie, I think, and she won an Oscar, I think. Imagine that first time out, you win an Oscar. How tripped out that is?
That's heavy. That's wonderful.
Right. So I'll start with you, China. What were your thoughts on Funny Girl?
I love that the movie I love how the movie opened up with her walking into the theater, walking inside the theater, and the camera work when she walked through the audience and onto the stage, and then we saw from her point of view the audience or the seats and all that, and how she was. You could tell that she was sad. Yeah, but she was happy too. We saw the glaze of her eyes, but then she started recalling her past before she became a star of the stage. And then I just love how it opened up to establish who she is, Fanny Brice. Right. And we're going to take you down memory lane of how she arrived at this point. So. Yeah. I love that. I love that how it began, and that is really like a movie in flashback. That it's her flashing back, and I love the fact, jumping ahead a little bit, that the movie that it ends where it begins. That picks back up with her zooming in back to real life onto the end of the film. What did you think about the performances in the film? I love the performances.
Yeah,
I really did. I thought it was the performances were nuanced. Yeah, and captivating. Yeah, I thought that the use of CUs, close-ups. Yeah, and the director really chose to highlight the two leads' eyes. Yeah. They communicated so much with their eyes. And I like the contrast of the color palette. Her blue eyes, his coffee brown eyes. Right. Because they were both, to me, kind of sad people. Yeah. They were both hustlers. Yeah. She hustled to entertain, to make people laugh. He hustled. His hustle was, gambling, and he was successful. I like that he wasn't just like this loser, right? Like he had winning streaks, and when he had winning streaks, he had substantial winning streaks where he was able to afford a massive house. Right. And I like that he saw her beyond the comic. The comedy drew him to her, but he appreciated her essence. What do you think about that?
Well, you know what? Just overall, I always thought that Barbra Streisand has like an off attractiveness. Like, I think she's actually a really attractive woman. There's something about her that's really attractive. It may not necessarily be the quote unquote classical attractive, but there's something about her that's attractive. And then her talent makes her really attractive, right? And I want to go back to one scene, like when she's walking out, you know, going back to Joseph Campbell, how the ordinary world that she goes on this adventure. And when she goes out to go audition for the theater, she has on a red dress, I think. And it pops because I think she's the only person who has on red when she's walking out. And so you track her walking through the ordinary life that she stands out, right? And to your point, there was a sadness about both of them, but it was a sadness that you might not necessarily see on the surface. You know, it was very much underneath. Like, because, and what I like, jumping ahead, I thought, you know, well, backtracking, I'm all over the place. Barbra Streisand was 26 when she shot this. And Omar Sharif, I think, was like 10 years older, 36. And what I liked is that with Omar Sharif's character, he came across as being very confident, very dapper, you know, but he had a lot of qualities, I feel, that might have been very attractive when you're dating somebody or whatever. But in a serious relationship, that instability ain't so attractive, right? And I like to see that contrast in him, where he goes from being very confident, where he has this losing streak, and you can tell he's full of doubt. You know what I'm saying? And you can see that thing. I think one guy said something about how Barbra Streisand was like his meal ticket, right? And he took umbrage to that, you know, because to your point, some basic things, you know, talk about gender roles, whatever. But I guess any dude wants to be in a position where they feel they can provide, right? And you know what? Real quick, I was wondering how much money she was making in the theater. You know, it'd be kind of like Tootsie back in the day, because her apartment was laying out, man. She like gave like $5,000 or whatever to help on his benefits. Like, man, how much money is she making? But it was a sense they were both free spirits, so to speak. But she had more stability in her free spiritedness, and that makes any sense. And she was the breadwinner, and it was like those qualities that attracted her were also the same qualities that could possibly cause a major rift and make the relationship fall apart.
Yeah, he established at the top of the film that I am not stable.
Right. Yeah.
That I am not interested in an exclusive relationship.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of man who is interested in going to my 9 to 5 and coming home. I like the adventure of my lifestyle. I don't want to be tied down. I'm a nomad, essentially.
Right.
I like taking risks, as do you, in the form of entertainment on stage, right? Because she was taking all kinds of risks as a comedic actress. And it happened to serve her, because it could have gone the opposite way, right?
Right.
It could have, you know, she could have fell on her face. But what was unique about her is what appealed to the audience.
Right.
They both were like two ships in the night. They were both, I guess what you call like misfits. Right. Yeah. You know? Yeah. But it worked. It served them. It served her consistently. I mean, let's not pretend like her stardom just took off. No, like she was faced opposition. I mean, so let's take it back. So the women, her mother spoke ill of her appearance, and her mother's friends basically suggested, or outright said, like, you need to be facially prettier. And you need to have a voluptuous body if you want to succeed in the entertainment industry. This is at the turn of the century, of the 20th century, right? The early 1900s. So even they knew back then, you need a little, to appeal to both men and women, because a part of entertainment as a woman, unfortunately, is fantasy. Right. The men need to desire you, and we need the women to want to look like you or be your friend. Yeah. Right. So she didn't fit that aesthetically, right? Right. She was quirky, but I love that she was bold when she spoke to Mr. Ziegfeld. Like she had a very strong sense of self but she was also doubting herself. She had this understanding that she was not classically beautiful. She wasn't beautiful or pretty, none of that. But she still understood that she had something special to share with her vocal talent and her sense of comedic timing. So I love that she was confident and she didn't fool herself. I'm not pretty, and I know that's what it is. Right. And how when Mr. Ziegfeld heard her voice and he demanded that she be the lead character in this particular musical, and she was just like, the lyrics said that I'm beautiful, but I'm not beautiful. I'm going to be playing myself. The audience will laugh at me. I need the audience to laugh with me. So she put this pillow under her dress because the character was getting married in the musical. And the audience cracked up laughing because she was like, you are not going to mock me. I'm going to have the audience laughing with me, but not at me. And she risked her career because that could have, she could have fell on her face, but it worked in her favor because the audience, they connected with her sense of humor. Brad, you want to talk about that?
Well, I thought that was great. Like her sense of humor, that she was playing to her strengths, Yes. And I just imagine how, and I guess it is what it is, how jacked up that is for somebody to say, well, you're not very attractive. You're not this, you're not that, and pretty much say it in your face, right? And I don't know that happens. I'm guessing it may happen more so with women and men. I don't know. But just how, and like her character just seemed to just kind of take it. Maybe by that point in time, to get in the film, she was so used to it, but it didn't deter her from going on her adventure, right? And I think it was her talent and knowing that she had that strength. Okay, this is my strength. This is my talent. That also gave her the confidence to speak up, to stand up to Ziegfeld, right? And say those things because she has something that other people didn't have. Because beauty may be important, but beauty may be a dime a dozen. What Fanny had or Barbra Streisand's character had is a rare commodity of comic timing and singing and talent that everybody doesn't have. So it gave her more leeway to kind of take those stands. And of course, the music. What did you think about the music in the film?
I love the music. It was very traditional Broadway musical. I love the lyrical content because it was a reflection of the times, right? Right. I have to say, Brad, I really appreciated the fact that her shortcomings worked in her favor with the audience. She wasn't a good dancer. Right. So she didn't pretend like she was. She was just like, I'm goofy up here and I can't dance. But it was such a wonderful commentary on like, just be yourself. Yeah. Embrace what is unique about you creatively or in whatever regard. But in this regard, like, you can't dance, but she knew that I know how to make people laugh. And I don't know if she understood as a person that laughing is medicinal in some regards, right? Right. It can be like medicinal, like healing. So she understood her power. And I like that she wasn't afraid to say, no, I disagree with you, Mrs. Ziegfeld. I hope it doesn't get me fired, but I disagree. Right. She stood for her salary. And also I love how her love interest, he did this bargain game. He acted as if he was like pursuing her as a talent to work for another theater company. He knew that would that the Mr. Ziegfeld or the gentleman at the time who owned the theater or managed the theater, he kind of kept raising her salary or her hourly rate, her fee, because her love interest was pretending like he was like, oh, I'll pay you 50 or I'll pay you 25. He was doing that for her, and it worked in her favor again. Again, it worked in her favor because he understood that she had a special kind of talent. He expressed it to her, and it made her appealing. But on a business tip, she ended up getting more than she even asked for, right? Right. And it was funny because, in a way, they kind of showcased who he was, for better or worse. That he was gambling. And I think Barbra Streisand said it. Oh, you gamble with my career? She said that, right? And he said, yeah, he had no issue doing it.
without a second thought. And it could have ended up disastrous, but he was still on that winning streak. He was still on that winning streak. And like, I wonder, like, could you see him doing that later on in the film where he was like doubting himself? Maybe not. It probably would have been a different persona, but it kind of like encapsulated like their relationship, that he was a risk taker and he was a gambler, right? And he like, when he saw something worth gambling on, it's almost as if he threw caution to the wind, for better or worse.
Both of them did, right? She threw caution to the wind when she knew that she wasn't pretty.
Right.
She couldn't dance well. And she didn't give up. When they rejected her in her initial audition, she didn't give up. She just kept following him, and I can do this. It's like, I mean, to me, it's like a film of like having like this deep-seated confidence and being resilient and not giving up on yourself and knowing that, no, what I have to offer is unique and is special. And I feel like the world will benefit or will be moved to laughter or to understanding, or they can identify something that's quirky in them in my presentation on stage. Do you feel differently?
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. And it's like that scenario of that guardian angel, you know what I'm saying? Because I forget the dude's name. Because when she auditioned for the theater dude the first time, and he like kicked out the way.
Right.
And the musician, it's kind of like he overheard her singing when she was like, thought she was singing by herself, I guess. And he realized she was an amazing talent. And even though he was like a minor role, he was also like a guardian angel that kind of help kick things off, as well, help get a foot in the door, which I thought was dope. But going back to the music, like, of course, the classic song, People Who Need People, just a beautiful song. And I had heard the song, Don't Rain on My Parade. That's another one of my favorites, because I don't think I ever saw the movie from beginning to end, saw parts of it. But those two songs in particular, I thought were just really, I mean, the whole soundtrack, but those two songs really stand out to me as being very powerful, beautiful songs.
I love Don't Rain on My Parade. And oh my God, Brad, can we talk about that whole sequence? When her love interest, I'm sorry, I forget his name, but when he left and she was just like, her castmates was like, don't follow him.
Right.
Do not follow. He will be pissed. And what if you get there and he's not excited to see you? He's kind of, he rejects you. And she just says, "Uck it." She follows her heart.
Right.
Taking another risk, right? Right. Hopefully it's going to work out. She was gambling. With her heart, basically. Right. And she followed him. I was so surprised, Brad, that he did receive her with open arms. I thought he would be like irritated and bothered. Yeah. Like, you're desperate. What are you doing following me? I told you, like, no. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming either, man. And it caught me because I was thinking about if this was reversed, would Nick, or would any dude do the same thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, LeBron James, for example, just got knocked out the playoffs. But let's say, for example, LeBron was in his prime. He was dating a woman. She said, okay, I'm going to leave the playoffs and go follow this woman. It would probably never happen. Right? It would never happen that somebody would put their career on hold that takes after a woman. I don't know. I'm just going to ask you. You think that's something that a woman would do more likely than a guy? Sorry, ladies. On a generalization, if you okay, so the thing was her career had been solidly established, right? Right. Right. By the time she chose to take a break and follow him, right? So her money was good. She had a great reputation. She had a following, right, as an entertainer. So she was good financially, right? And she was in demand. So I think she could afford to follow him. Yeah, I hate to sound like it, ladies, but I think let's speak for China. Let's speak for China.
Right.
I think because I'm such a romantic at heart, and if my money was solid, and I knew that I was in demand as an actress, a musical actress, if I really loved him, and I would just we loved being in one another's company. Right. He added joy to the joy I already had. Yeah, I think when I was much younger, I would have done it.
Okay. Being honest. Right.
Yeah. In your early 20s and your mid 20s, it's like, and again, because she was solidly established and her money was nice, and she was in such high demand, you know, she could always take the ship back to New York. And so, yeah, I can see it happening. And it paid off for her. Yeah,
it did. Yeah, you know, and I like how jumping towards the end, when they're back into like the present moment. And she says to Mrs. Ziegfeld, well, Nick may be coming out. So if I need to take some time away from the theater, I may have to do that. And as an audience member, I was thinking, man, she hasn't learned her lesson. Like she's still like in the same mindset. And then I like the fact when Nick appeared, like they had a shot and she could see Nick in the mirror. And it's kind of like, are they going to get back together? Is it going to work out, so on and so forth? And then when they embrace, which I thought was so dope, you could tell by the embrace that the relationship was over. You know, just how they were holding each other and their expressions, that time has moved on. And they didn't have to say that it was over, that it was like that acknowledgement. And I think that's kind of real, how you can have a version of somebody in your mind, and then you actually meet them again in person, and you realize that it's over, or this relationship is something different now. And I thought that was dope that it was done cinematically without words in terms of conveying that.
Yeah, I mean, they had a really strong season together.
Right.
They procreated. They had a child that they both loved. And while in the thick of the marriage, he was loving the marriage, right? He was.
Yeah.
Because he was on a win streak, and so I think like he didn't seem to be like soured by the marriage, by being. He didn't seem like, oh God. It's like, I really love her. I love being around her. She still makes me laugh. Like, we compliment each other, and it really didn't go sour until he lost that winning streak.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the true self started showing up, like when he didn't show up to opening night. You know, he just knew. And it was kind of like, as an audience member, like, man, this is going to, I was happy for him, but it was like, this is going to end badly. You know, it kind of had to end bad because that's the conflict in the movie. But it's like, okay, this is going to, this just can't keep up. This relationship, at least in terms of how he was making a living, that it was going to hit a dry spell at some point in time.
Yeah, with his kind of lifestyle, his mindset, he really has no business being married.
Yeah, right.
And I think he always understood. He always knew that, but he was so smitten by her. And I love that he was smitten not by her how she looked, but he was smitten by her character.
Yeah, right.
Which is way more long-lasting than one's beauty, right?
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Unless you're Lena Horne. So, I mean, there's exceptions. But I love that he was really taken in by her personality. And she was a really grounded person. I love that she was goofy.
Yeah.
I love that she was goofy. And that the love for him never died.
Right. Yeah. And that became very apparent even after that embrace, when they knew it was over, with the last song of the movie, the finale, with My Man or whatever. It's a very, very powerful song. And I love how it ended. It ended just like, you know, with her on stage, then it cuts to black, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a very powerful ending. And it's just one of those type of things that, you know, maybe a lot of people probably had those relationships where you still have love for somebody, but you can't be in love with them. You know what I'm saying? She still has love for that person. And I was wondering, like, going to the moment before and the moment beyond, like I always like to do. Do you think this was the first time she ever had a boyfriend? or at least the very first time she was seriously in love?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. First time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I think so too.
I think he was a first.
Yeah.
I like how the women in her mother's friends, oh boy, they put on a different face, didn't they? When she became successful.
Yeah.
All that talk about you need to be pretty and voluptuous, all that went out the window.
Right.
But she didn't throw it in their face. She could have thrown it in their face.
Right.
But she didn't.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But
she wasn't bitter about it because, you know, that's how it goes in real life sometimes. People say, yeah. Had they doubt you, then when the bandwagon rolling down the track 100 miles an hour, everybody wants to jump on board. But she still had love for them, still had love for the neighborhood. Right.
Yes. And they were really celebrating her. And I think at the core, Fanny Bryce understood that they were telling the truth.
Right. Yeah.
They weren't trying to be mean or anything.
Yeah. So what do you
I thought Barbra.
Oh no, go
I thought
on.
Barbra Streisand. I thought her acting was so. It was just so truthful, so grounded.
Yeah. Right.
And she was she's so transparent, emotionally transparent in her eyes.
Yeah.
As was he. They were cast they cast this film really well. Those two leads, they were so vulnerable in their eyes. And even it's like her love interest. Aside from him being really handsome, I love when an actor is, physically handsome, but he doesn't hang his hat on that as an actor.
Yeah.
He was really emotionally committed to this character. I could tell. I felt that he respected her and he loved her. I thought he was in love with her. You could be in love with somebody, but your lifestyle, it clashes with what a relationship requires.
Definitely. Yeah.
And when she said, when his colleague or acquaintance said, hey, why don't you come aboard and be a partner? We have two, myself and another gentleman. He said, but I don't have any money to contribute to my partnership. He's like, oh, that's fine. You're charismatic and people will come to the business. Your presence will draw customers, right?
Right.
And that's your contribution. He was like, but for him as a man, that wasn't sufficient.
Right.
Like, no, I want to contribute monetarily like you and the other partner. I don't want to be a pity partner. I want to contribute. And then when he discovered that she was willing to foot his $5,000 investment, I saw the brokenness in him. Not brokenness, but I saw like disappointment and shame.
Right. Yeah.
That he was in this position where she felt the need to invest on his behalf. And because he has been like, to me, I feel like this dude has been on his own since he was like 17. This is my little backstory. So he's always had to depend on himself and he's always made a way. And now this woman is coming along and because she's doing it out of love, it's out of love, but it doesn't matter. He needs to provide for himself. So yeah, what are your thoughts about that? And I just love that scene. He was so vulnerable. Yeah,
I thought it was a powerful scene. You could tell like when Barbra Streisand had her head down reading the magazine that, that something was afoot, that she was, that she had paid his way. And just that sense of pride. And it's a sense of pride that drove him to do something even more drastic that landed him in jail, because he wanted to, he didn't want to be a meal ticket, have her as a meal ticket. But in essence, the reality was she was the meal ticket. She was the breadwinner, And I like that scene, like when she's talking to her mother. And I wrote down the line where Barbra Streisand says something about, are you criticizing Nick? And the mother says, where would I come to criticize Nick? It's you I'm surprised at. I said, damn, it's a dope line. It was dope. She was really surprised. And she was saying basically how you're so in love with him, you really can't see him for what he is in a bad way, and that he needs some type of help. He needs some help. And I guess she meant more like understanding, whatever the case may be. And Barbra Streisand's character, Fanny, was helping out the best way she thought she could by flipping this bill, by paying this way. Mm-hmm. And it really made things even worse, so to speak. But they were doing the best they could. You know, she was doing the best she could. What she thought was.
You know what? It's that scene reminded me of Soul Food, and I know they're like 100 years apart, like the early 1920s, and then you're 1997 or whatever, right. And that could have been like 1897. But anyway, they're almost 100 years apart. The setting, when Bird, you know, not to bring in another movie, but when Bird, you know, talks to her ex-boyfriend to get Lem a job,
right?
Her intentions were pure, right? To help you get on your feet. It's just a bridge, okay?
Right.
But I guess men, or some men, they don't want the woman to do what they want to do for themselves.
Right.
And I like that her love interest, what's his name? What's the character's name? Nick. I don't want to keep saying I love interest. So Nick, he also acknowledged that I know that you did it. I know that your intentions was pure. I get that. I do. But you embarrassed me.
Yeah.
You're basically communicating that I'm not man enough to provide for myself, to invest for my own, you know, for my own doing. And right. we just want to help. Like, we're not trying to emasculate you, but that's what it communicates, right? Well, at least with this character.
Right. Yeah. So what do you think overall? How would you rate the film overall? Like in terms of cinematography, in terms of acting, in terms of the music?
Cinematography, like 1 to 5, I would give it a 5.
Okay.
I'd give it a 5.
Yeah.
Story, I would give it a 5. And because of the scene where she was on the ship, she was singing until she finally connected with Nick.
Right.
Because of that scene alone, 5. That scene, I mean, I've never seen. I mean, what they were in a helicopter. I mean, I've never seen a sequence like that. A musical sequence.
Yeah.
She's like taking all these modes of transportation to connect with her lover.
Yeah.
And she's still singing, and it's this long shot. I mean, the acting is 5. I
mean, I'll give it a 5 too. Like cinematography, give it a 5. Music, I give it a 5. Acting, directing, give it a 5. And I wonder, like, see what your thoughts are. I wonder if Funny Girl could be made today. Like, if it came out today, how would it be received? How do you think it would be received if it came out today?
And set in that time period, right?
Yeah.
I think it would be received.
Okay,
Everybody loves a good heartwarming, good musical, good romantic love story. I think it was a very balanced story, you know.
Right.
And again, it's a movie about embracing what is unique about you, right?
Yeah.
Don't run from it. Embrace it. So I think a lot of people can relate to that. Excuse me. So yeah, I just hope that they, you know, if they redo it, just get, you know, a solid actor, a really great actor, not a solid, a great singer actress. Yeah, I think I would love to see it again.
Okay.
I'm not even for remakes.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of like, I wouldn't want to see a remake, but then again, it's like maybe I would. Like, for example, not to talk about another movie, I'm really looking forward to West Side Story coming out, I think later on in the year, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I thought it was a well done movie. Like, I've really grown. I mean, I've liked musicals, but I've grown more and more to love musicals. And it's something about those old school musicals, because even though it was like the 60s, still had like an old school type of feel to it, which I thought was great. I just thought the combination of the music, the acting, directing, whole nine yards, I give it a 5 across the board.
But will they be able to recapture that type of cinematography when she's taking all modes of transportation to reconnect with her lover. I mean, will they be able to do that? I mean, I'm sure they can do it today. They did it then, they can do it today. Right?
Yeah. I just hope, I wouldn't want to see it I would not want to see it where it's all digitalized, something like that. I think it's something too, actually seeing it with the, I guess, mechanical aspects, even though mechanical aspects of the camera actually moving through space. I think that maybe with technology, you can move it through space in even more spectacular ways. But I think if they redid it, I would love to see it that way too, with the actual camera moving as opposed to computer generated whatever.
And if they do it, please do not add hip hop. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
It's a period.
Right.
It's a period piece. If you're gonna add hip hop, put it over the closing credits.
Yeah.
If they cast it as a black actress and black actor, please don't add hip hop. Just put it over the closing credits and be done. But it's a period piece.
Yeah.
I'm okay if they never if they don't do it again, they'll do a remake of it. Because I really appreciate the humanity that all actors brought to this story. It was a great village of actors. So yeah.
Right. And one last thing, I want to look up. I've got a name, but the black woman who played the assistant, I'd like to know I forget her name.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah.
I wonder what her career was like overall, what she did other stuff. I'm blanking on her name right now.
Oh, right. She was good.
She was good.
She was good. Yeah. I really but I can see why they call this a drama too. Because I can totally see that.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
No, because it has some heavy drama in it. Drama in it.
Right. Definitely, yeah. Well, tell you what, China, I think that's
her name.
Oh, what's it? You got it?
I was trying to look and see. Anne. Barbra Streisand.
Yeah, I forget what.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see her listed. I guess if I click all, because I just definitely want to shout her out.
Yeah.
You know what though? When I was watching it, I was like, I want to be in that kind of movie.
Yeah, that'll be great to be in. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, her name was the actress name was Mittie Lawrence. Her character name was Emma. But her birth name is Mittie, M-I-T-T-I-E, Mittie Lawrence. But there's no photograph here for her.
Okay. Yeah, I want to look her up. I always love it. 1941. Is she still alive?
Yeah.
Oh, she is.
Let me see. She is, because I don't see a died date. I just see born, 1941.
Okay, yeah.
It seemed like she was in The Spook Who Sat by the Door. Maybe I'm mistaking her with another actress.
Right.
I think I am mistaking her. She has 2 children, divorced. Okay. Yeah, honestly, Brad, I wish we can return to those kind of musicals.
Yeah, right.
The kind of quality of movie where you gotta have chops.
Yeah. And I like the intro. We live in a time period where everybody's kind of rushing. I understand that. But it's something about the intro. When the intro came on at the beginning of the movie, it's kind of like it set the tone and it took its time. You know what I'm saying? Some people be like, oh my goodness, okay, the intro is so long. Kind of like, not to bring up another movie, but the intro for the original West Side Story, how they play the pretty much a parade of the music before it starts. That for a lot of people, if they saw that today, they're like, man, when does the movie start? Right? And it was just a sense of patience, being able to wait for a really great story that I really enjoy when I see movies like that. It'd be great to kind of challenge that now in this day and age, you know, that's just telling a story and not wasting time, but taking time to tell a story that makes any sense while still getting to the point. I mean, I love that.
Yeah, it's like slow down, everybody. Let the intro simmer, you know, let it cook, let it boil and bubble up. Like, don't, there's this whole like quick and fast. It's like movies are not Instagram. Like, you're supposed to like relax, take your time, you know, cross your feet at your ankles or whatever, and just like sit back and enjoy the story. And I think too that I'm a big fan of foreign films. Shout out to foreign films.
Yep.
And shout out to Robert Hines, a fellow actor in Chicago, who introduced me to foreign films. I was resistant to it because I'm like, if I'm reading the subtitle, I'm missing the acting. Right. But you can walk and chew gum. I discovered that, and so I'm glad that I have to say, with foreign films, at least the ones that I've seen, like Cinema Paradiso, one of my favorite films out of Italy. And talk to her about Pedro Almodovar. They take their time, and Amelie, like take their time to set it up, right? With beautiful imagery and character, non-verbal character. It's like, I mean, I know North America, we have a lot of great indie films, a lot of great films too. But I think a lot of our great films are in the past.
Yeah. Right. Well, I like the combination of both. Like, for example, and not to get off topic, but I love, for example, the quick cuts, how Martin Scorsese, one of my favorite directors, right? I think he's an amazing storyteller. And he can have stuff where he has quick cuts, boom, 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 but also still takes his time telling the story, you know, to tell the story. That's not like you go into a theater where everybody's racing off to a fire. I got a fire to get to, so I can't be sitting in the theater too long, right? They can take your time. And just real quick, kind of reminds me of, you know, when you look at Netflix and they have it, which is cool, where you can just speed through the intro and get right to the episode, right? It's kind of part of that mentality.
It is, but it was a great story. I'm glad I experienced it. Thank you for introducing it, for reintroducing it to me. I heard of it, I had never seen it though, so I'm glad I experienced it. No doubt.
So real quick before we get out of here, China, what are you up to? What projects are you working on?
Well, you know, everybody can always download my film Sweet Thing at ChinaLCoastal.com or Dark Seed on Amazon Prime. But I'm currently writing 2 films. One film titled I Love You, Jimmy, and the other titled To Cook or Not to Cook.
Love it.
So
good
that's
stuff.
it.
Pretty good stuff. And I want to say, last but not least, happy birthday to my father. Today's his birthday. We miss you so much. He passed away 3 years ago, but big time love you. And until next time, as always, dream big, dare to be great. And we out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Ooh la la. Yeah.